And I think that Shaneen Allen is our day's version of the perils of Pauline. It has been a rough go for the last couple of years, and all because Shaneen Allen thought she ought to be able to protect herself, which in Philadelphia and Pennsylvania in particular isn't that big a deal. You can get a concealed carry permit without too much ado, but that's not uniformly the case elsewhere, and that's what we're going to talk about today. We are also going to have the benefit of Shaneen's attorney, Michelle Christian. But Shaneen, I'd like to just give you a chance to describe, first of all, why did you decide you wanted to become a concealed carry firearms owner and go get that permit?
Oh, when I first went to go get my permit, I originally went to go get it to protect me and my children. The main reason is because I work 3 jobs, and my third job, I get off really late. It was like 4:30 in the morning. And, I would have to go pick both of my boys up from daycare that time of night. And coming home, in the area I was at is very bad. So when I went to get my license to carry, I went to get it because I was robbed twice in the same month.
So you were closing a convenience store, and you were looking at the wrong end of a gun twice within a month? Is that right?
Twice in the same month.
So I would think that even in a place such as New Jersey, which is the adjacent state for you, that might be something that would constitute reason to want to own a gun. But then in New Jersey, reason isn't really something that seems to apply. I was just writing a nastygram to the chief of police of Berlin, New Jersey. He's the guy that dragged his feet on issuing a concealed carry permit to Carol Brown. She was afraid that her ex-boyfriend, was going to kill her. Well, he did. She never did get her concealed carry permit, even though the time limit had expired, but she expired before she was able to get an expired permit. That is how outrageous it is in New Jersey. And this chief of police has no apology. He even broke the law because he was supposed to get her that permit within a month, and it was 2 months, and it was still counting. And so that is the environment that you were happily driving along in Atlantic County one night, having gotten your concealed carry permit not that long before, if I am correct.
Yes. I had my license to carry, but when I originally went to get my firearm, I didn't get it until that month when I had got robbed. So I made sure I had my license, so when I did go purchase a firearm, I can whenever I need it, even though we have that grace period where we have to wait right after we get the carry permit just to purchase a firearm. So once I did get robbed, that's when I went to get my license, my firearm. And I just feel bad for that young lady's story, because if she would have had it, she would have been able to protect herself, and she wouldn't have been in the situation she's in now. I know that for a fact. But
absolutely.
I was just going across New Jersey, and I was taking my kids to go to the hotel. I was bringing them up the next day. So I didn't bring him that night because I was going to go set up the room and surprise him for his birthday. I bought a dog, and I had cake and everything in the car, and I was taking it up to the room to go set up. So I worked that
no good deed goes unpunished, as we will shortly hear.
Yes. So I went to go set up the room, and on my way there, I was not even 5 minutes away from the hotel room, and I got pulled over.
And do you know what it was that you were pulled over for?
Larry, I would like to back up. Shaneen, I think it's really important for everyone to know you obtained your license legally. You went through all the legal channels that you were supposed to do, especially in Philadelphia, which I'm not sure if you know, Larry, which you may. In Philadelphia, it's even harder than just Pennsylvania.
Right. They're sorry they have to give you a permit, but they'll make it as hard as they can.
So she received her permit. She received her firearm. And when she was pulled over in New Jersey, it is 5 days later.
Yes.
5 days after she obtained her firearm.
I had my firearm, and I only had it for 5 days, so I never used it, never fired it. I was just going to go, actually, right after the party, I had my lessons to go and learn how to use my firearm. That's why I had it on me. That's why I had it with me, so that when I came back from the party, we can come back to Philadelphia, and I would go to my classes and learn how to use that specific firearm.
It sounds like a pretty dangerous mindset you had there, milady. Wow, how dangerous.
How dangerous. How dangerous. With some cake and my kids. I'm going to be so wrong to the state of New Jersey.
Traveling with her puppy across state lines.
Right.
My little puppy that I put in my purse, my handbag. That's how small she is. I had a big bazooka. I was going to do so much wrong, but...
So the dog and the gun fit in the same purse.
Yes, yes, she does. Yes, she does.
Well, it's a shame the dog doesn't bite. That might have solved the problem with the cop. Anyway, you get pulled over. And,
I got pulled over, and I asked the officer, what did I do wrong? Why was I being pulled over? And he just told me to just get my credentials and please be quiet. And I did that. I went in the back.
Let me interject. You never found out why you were pulled over. My guess is, and Michelle, maybe you can tell me I'm on the moon on this, but my guess is, because we know that Maryland does something like this, that he might have just done like any snooping cop, run the numbers on the license plate that Shaneen had on her car, and that may be that he was able, because maybe Philadelphia, maybe Pennsylvania makes it possible to compare the owner of a car with somebody that is on the list for a concealed carry permit. And that may be, if that happened, that would then explain why he pulled you over.
Yeah, because actually when I found out where he was at, I wanted to know, was he just driving around? What made him pull me over? Mind you, I was on the turnpike 5 minutes away from the hotel, and he was coming the opposite way going towards Philadelphia. So the trooper was actually on construction duty. He was outside. I think he was supposed to have been parked at a certain location and, blocking off the construction site that was being done at the time. But he flipped around from the opposite side of the turnpike onto New Jersey Turnpike on the side I was going towards the room, and pulled me over. Mind you, it's 1 o'clock in the morning, and I was the only one on the road with trucks. So it was clear. It was nice.
Well, let's pause there. We're coming up on a break. We're talking with Shaneen Allen, a Pennsylvania gun owner. I don't believe at the moment in possession of her gun, but we'll get into that as well. And her attorney, Michelle Christian. And as you can see, she needs an attorney. We'll be back shortly and continue with what happened with Shaneen Allen. Shaneen has been telling us about a rather fateful evening, early morning actually. She's driving on her way to Atlantic City, New Jersey, something which I would highly recommend against, and you'll see why. I grew up in New Jersey, but I got out of there as fast as I could, and I almost never have been back. If I never get back, that'll be too soon. And I think you'll see that I'm not speaking all that hyperbolically. Shaneen, you get pulled over. The cop won't tell you why he pulled you over. Just shut up. And so he's doing what? Is he writing a ticket? What's going on?
The trooper is just standing there, face and body leaned in my car. Really, he's all in my face. And it was scaring me because I wanted to know, why was you pulling me over in the first place? I was under the speed limit because I was tired and, I wasn't driving fast. I had no reason to. So when I went to get my purse from out of the back seat, I put it on my lap, and he was so close to me, he could actually smell my breath. So I looked in my purse, and I went to get my license and my registration because I knew it wasn't in my glove compartment. I knew I had it in my purse. So when I saw my firearm, it was in a holster, and it was in the middle part of my pocketbook. So I looked at him, and I said, well, you won't tell me why you pulling me over, but I want to just let you know that before I go in my purse, I'm licensed to carry, and I have my firearm on me. And he said, what? And I repeated myself. I said, I have my license to carry and my firearm on me. I just wanted to let you know before I dig in my purse. So he cut me off and said, hold on, where is it at? I said, it's right here in my purse. And I went to give him my purse. He must have thought I was going to go inside of it and grab it. And he just immediately snatched it and grabbed it out of my hand and then put my purse on the hood of my car. And that's when he went to search in my pocketbook and asked me to step out the car. And my kid's father was driving with me, and he told him to step out the car, and he called for backup immediately. Backup came not even 2 minutes later, and he came and he secured my kid's father and went to check my vehicle and asked me, did I have any other weapons? At this time, I'm crying, and I'm asking him, what is the problem? I still didn't even think a firearm was the issue. I asked, what is the problem? Why are you arresting me? Why are you putting these cuffs on me? And the officer said, well, you're supposed to have your firearm a certain way. And I said, a certain way? How? Can you tell me how? And he didn't even know. I knew he didn't know because he was like, well, I said, well, can you tell me so I can do it the right way? And my kid's father said, what are y'all doing? She's licensed to carry that. That's her firearm. She got it the right way. What's the problem? He said, well, it's the way that she has it. He said, my partner could let her go, but he already put the paperwork in and everything. So
well, we can't mess around if we've done the paperwork. That's the end of everything. Right.
Right. That's the end of everything.
He's not a cop. He's a bureaucrat.
Yes. So I asked him, I was still crying. I said, well, can you just, let me go? He said, well, listen, we're going to let you go, but we have to take you in. And they put the cuffs on me and put me into the car, in the back seat of the cop car, and took me to the station. He just closed my car up and left it on the highway with the dog inside and the cake. Didn't even lock it up, just left it there and put me and my kid's father in two different cars and drove me there. And while we was driving there, I was just in the back seat letting them know, I still don't understand this. Why did you pull me over in the first place? And he said, well, I'm not the arresting officer. I'm just taking you back to the
station.
So he said, well, I said, well, why am I even being put in? I still don't understand this. Can you tell me why? He said, well, listen, I know you didn't know the law, because if you knew the law, you wouldn't have told us that you had your firearm on you. It just don't make sense. He said, well, I recommend that when you go to court, let your public defender or your attorney know that I'm the arrest officer. I'm writing this up. I wasn't the one who actually pulled you over, but I know you didn't know the law, because if you knew, you wouldn't have told us. So the judge or whoever's there that day should, look in recommendation to what I'm going to put down in my report, because you didn't know. I can clearly see you didn't know. And I'm sorry about this, but we had, he already wrote it up and had to take you in. So once they took me in, they handcuffed me and shackled my feet to a bench and took my kid's father in and locked him in the cage.
Now, I've met you. You are a dangerous-looking person, I must say. I am so glad those cops are not taking any chances. Just following procedures. It's got to do it by the book.
Yeah, procedure. Okay. That's exactly what he said. My kid's father said, why are you doing this? He said, we're following procedure. This is procedure. He said, is that necessary? You have her handcuffed to the bench, shackled to the bench. My ankles were shackled. So while they had me shackled, they was going through my firearm and trying to open it.
They didn't even know how, probably.
They didn't know how to open it. No, it took them about 3.5 hours to open.
So the moment of greatest danger during that whole time was when the cop had your gun in his hands, because he didn't know what he was doing.
Right.
She was a threat. They had already told her they knew she wasn't a threat. And they shackled her.
That is so outrageous because if they really thought that they just, can't take any chances, then that means these guys are robots, and cops shouldn't be robots.
And mind you, I wasn't a threat because neither one of them read me my Miranda rights. And I was actually granted that in court because they asked why. The judge asked them, why didn't y'all read her Miranda rights? And they both said, well, I thought he was going to do it, and I thought that he was going to do it, and that was just that. That's why I didn't.
It would have been a really difficult thing to say, "Hey, partner, did you read her rights yet?"
Yeah. I was such a threat. I didn't get my Miranda rights.
Well, there you go. Well, actually, you wouldn't read the rights to somebody that you're not arresting, and they probably knew that they had no reason to arrest you. There was nothing plausible about you.
Plausible. Yeah.
So I can see why it didn't occur to him.
There was no cause. There's no cause. I didn't find out. So after all of that processing and fingerprinting me and everything and having me sit there and wait, because really the wait was them not being able to open my firearm because I had a key to it. The paperwork was easy. It was, it was enough. I had no background. I had nothing on my record. The firearm wasn't my name. I even had the application from where I bought it from on me. I had all my paperwork, everything on me, made it very easy for them. It was a brand new firearm. They just couldn't open it.
And she bought this firearm because she has young children. She bought it for protection. So those were the specifics she gave the gun owner shop. She said, look, I need this to protect myself.
Incredible. We're talking to Shaneen Allen. When we get back, we'll give out a web address that you can send some help her way, because it's been pretty nasty not being able to work. And we'll get into all that in just a little bit. So stay tuned, please. Shaneen, as you have been hearing, was caught up by a couple of stupid cops who had no idea how they could mess somebody's life up for no good reason. They just were following the book, at least in their mind, and that resulted in, I'm sure, Shaneen's first inside look at a police station. And it wasn't just a brief encounter with the inside of the police station. Why don't you continue, Shaneen, and tell us how the rest of your night didn't go very well either.
Oh yeah, Larry. When I was sitting there at that moment watching them open my firearm, I finally told them that, hey, you can't open it because the key is right here on my arm. So I used the key and opened it up. Not only did I have the regular safety that everyone has on it, and I had another safety key on it where you just press, slide the little slot over, and I had an actual key that changes from fire to safe. And I have kids, so I specifically got that firearm because of that third safety key, because they can't be fired without that key at all.
Mm-hmm.
So
okay.
It would take a lot. So
basically, you had about a 4-pound rock in your purse.
Yes. Yes. And when they finally let me go, on my own recognizance, I guess, and that's when I was told, when the officer took me back to my vehicle, he told me why they arrested me, why they pulled me over. They pulled me over for failure to maintain my lane. He gave me a ticket. And I'm like, what's this? He's like, this is the ticket for why we pulled you over. And I said, well, you giving this to me now? This is the reason why you pulled me over? What's failure to maintain my lane? And he said, well, you wasn't in the lane exactly. You was just a little bit out of the white line. I said, okay, I wasn't over the speed limit. I wasn't nothing like that. Okay, it's 1 a.m. I'm tired. The only time I crossed that white line was when you guys pulled me over. So I just let it go. I was like, that was just a reason to pull me over. Y'all didn't have a real reason to pull me over. This is just...
They finally invented something.
Yeah,
right.
Invented something to pull me over with, and you give it to me when you're giving me the ticket and you let me go.
So not only is the cop stupid, he's a liar.
Exactly.
And we know, I'm more convinced the more I talk to you, that they had a way to find out that you're a pistol-packing mama.
Yes, they knew. They knew when they ran my plate. They knew when they see my car. They must have thought I was a male because I had a Chevy Impala. It was all black, and when I bought it, it had tinted windows already on it. So they must have thought I was some guy from Philly riding bad, or drunk or something. Who knows? They racially profiled me, and I believe that. They profiled me from my car and everything. So when they seen I was a female and everything was right, they just happened to be, I guess in their eyes, lucky that night that I had a firearm and thought that it wasn't registered or, whatever they thought in their minds. But after that, I went back to the room, and And I cried, and I still had my kids at my birthday party. I went back to Philadelphia the next morning, got my kids, and brought them back to the hotel room and had the party for them and left New Jersey. Ever since then, I've been going to court, back and forth from New Jersey to Philadelphia, going to court. And it was snowing, and I had a court date coming up that I didn't have to appear for, but because the court automatically regenerated this court date, even though the court was closed, it still put down that I had court, and they issued a fugitive warrant for my arrest. I didn't even know I had. I found out that it was issued out for 2.5 weeks before I got arrested. I went to bars, which I was.
I hadn't realized this. This is even more preposterous than anything I understood. Oh, my goodness. A computer-generated warrant from a court that's closed down.
Closed. It was closed.
Had you been there and banged on the door, nobody would have opened.
Nope. I called the court, and they said it was closed due to the snowstorm. It was snowing last year. I don't know if everybody remember, but it closed down New Jersey and Philadelphia and Delaware, and there was no court.
That's what I like about snow, by the way. It closes government down.
Yes.
But so here we are. They're not open, but somehow you're responsible for not having been there.
Right, which I had no reason. I've been to every court date. I had no reason to not go to court. So I found out I had this fugitive warrant when I went to go apply for a job at a bar, and they was watching me work. And at any job, they look at your ID. This specific bar had a database where so they put my name up in the computer, and it came up that I had a fugitive warrant. Don't know how they had this FBI database, but it came up. I had a fugitive warrant, and instead of them telling me that, go take care of this, you got a warrant off for your arrest, they called the cops on me. And the cops came, and they arrested me there. And I was
nice.
locked up for 48 days in 2 different prisons.
So I knew about the 48 days, but I had no understanding how this had actually come about. It's much worse than what I had originally understood. Incredible.
A lot of people didn't know that I was locked up twice. And the first time was actually 6 hours, and they let me go. The reason why I got locked up the second time is because they put a fugitive warrant on for my arrest. And they took me in because of court. For me not having to be in court.
48 days.
There was a snow day.
Yes.
So they finally did realize that at the end of that whole time?
Yes, and then when I went to court to see the judge, I had to see the original judge in New Jersey, in Hamilton County. When I saw him, my bail was $50,000, and I was detained. So no matter what I would have did or what they would have did, I was detained until I saw that specific judge. When I saw him, he bumped my bail from $50,000 to $15,000. So I asked, he asked, why can't I be just let go of my own countenance? This was not something that wasn't my fault. He said, well, this is a lawful possession charge. It's a second-degree charge. So for that being said, bail $15,000. I had to pay $1,500 to get out of jail that night.
So now they've added.
Again, she's not a threat to anyone once again, and they up her bail just for the purpose of doing it because they don't want guns in New Jersey.
The charge.
And she had a gun.
And they want to make sure that the world. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yes.
So anybody listening, why don't you take their message and take it to heart? Were you planning a vacation in New Jersey? Why don't you not do that? That might be a good idea.
Yes.
It's extremely disappointing when the court was closed. I believe it was a well-publicized state of emergency.
Yes, it was.
I guess when the warrant was issued, no one in the warrants department realized that. I bet they had off that day, though.
I'll bet.
For the state of emergency.
Yes.
So when I got down there, and they made the bell, I came home. I came home. The day I had court, the week after, my public defender at the time told me that to go home and kiss my kids and get ready to do 3.5 years minimum in prison.
Oh, that's a cheerful thought.
Yes, she said those exact words, and I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "I don't see how this is a lawful possession. I don't think we're going to win this." And we go to trial. She said, I don't know. I said, well, we're going to have to go to trial. I'm not taking no deal. She said, I know. And she kind of like gave me a hint to try to get another attorney. And that's what I did. Somebody called me from jail and gave me Nappen's information and told me to call him and she think he can help. So I did.
I want to encourage folks to try to give some support because Shaneen has been out of work for a couple of years. It's been extremely difficult. ShaneenAllen.org. I'll repeat that when we get back from the break, and we'll give you the rest of what happened to the Perils of Pauline, 21st century version. Trying to protect herself and her two little boys, and for her trouble, she's now ensnared in the New Jersey criminal justice system, and I'm tempted to say injustice system. But in any case, quite an ordeal. Why don't we pick up where you had left us? You're about ready to, I guess your public defender has given you the cheerful news that, well, you're probably going to get 3.5 years.
Yes, she let me know that I was going to do 3.5 years in prison at minimum, and the maximum was 12 years. That was a very big number to swallow. So I called the attorney right away, Nappen, and he told me that this was a crazy, crazy story, and this shouldn't even have been brought to court.
Right.
So I went public and tried to tell everyone my story, and it actually went great. Because I got this pardon from Governor Christy on April 2nd, and I'm actually awaiting to go to court to fight Pennsylvania to get my license to carry back because they didn't just hand it back over to me like they were supposed to. So right now, that's what I'm dealing with right now. I don't have any money coming in at all. I'm trying to get back to work, but we have to wait for the expungement to go through. So I'm just waiting around for New Jersey and Pennsylvania to do their jobs and trying to push them because I am still walking around with no license to carry, no firearm. They didn't send me my firearm back yet from New Jersey. Pennsylvania won't give me my license to carry back. They're making me go through court to appeal it next week.
So, Larry, we filed an appeal. Yeah, we have an appeal that has been filed. We will be going to court later this month. So now Shaneen, who has been thrown into the spotlight, everyone knows she's walking around unarmed.
Yep.
Thank you. Pennsylvania, New Jersey, because now everyone knows that she's vulnerable. And we have to now fight for her to exercise her constitutional right to protect herself and her family. And that's all this is. This is a young mom, a single mother, 2 little boys, wants to protect herself and her family and go to work every day. It just went wrong, and this has destroyed her life. She is starting to speak out on this issue so that hopefully this doesn't happen to other people. There's too many patchwork rules and laws.
Amen.
There's no way the average citizen and above average citizen could understand the way the laws are written when it comes to firearms. So Shaneen is really getting out there and trying to be an advocate for everyone so that this doesn't happen to anyone else.
Maybe I should say this, Michelle. If anybody listening has a gun and carries, you better have the name of an attorney, and you better have already spoken with that attorney so that if you have to make a call at 3 a.m, they know, okay, that's Larry Pratt calling. We've had our conversation. Good to go.
But Larry, I didn't read that in the Second Amendment. The right to bear arms, and you better have a lawyer on retainer. I didn't know that little part was there, but it's true.
Oh, you're such a purist. Yes, indeed.
Yes.
I didn't know that was there.
And in a free country, we wouldn't have it there in a free country either, right?
So
Shaneen does have a website, ShaneenAllen.org. Please, if everyone could look out to help her. Her events are on there.
So you can look on my website, ShaneenAllen.org. If you can help me out and donate.
She's speaking with Pennsylvanians for Self-Protection.
Yes.
Oh, good. Well,
and they're an avid supporter of Shaneen.
Yes, I love to speak out. So anyone would like me to come to any events and come speak, just go to my website, ShaneenAllen.org, and put the information in. It'll come straight to me, and I can talk to you in details more about it. I just want to thank everyone who supported me, who's been there for me through the whole nines. I just want to be a regular person and live my life and work and now help other people who are going through this right now. There are still people going through this terrible situation that I've been through. So now I'm an advocate. I'm also a phlebotomist and a medical assistant. That's my professional job position. So any work and just anything, just contact me, ShaneenAllen.org.
Excellent.
And let me know. Thank you.
And people could also get in touch with me at Gun Owners of America if they didn't get all of that. We'll be glad to get a hold of Shaneen and let her call you back. So this is something that could happen to anybody, and I think, as you were indicating, Shaneen, it probably is, as we speak, happening to somebody else because we have a government that doesn't look at themselves as our employees, but as our masters. Right. And they're completely out of line, out of control. And what happened to you unhappily could and probably is happening to other people. And the one good thing about all this terrible situation is that they couldn't have picked a better person from our point of view for them to have been so stupid with. Because you're an attractive woman, you're an articulate person, a single mom. What they did to you is clearly unconscionable. And I hope it's going to come back on them double hard. Yes, I agree. And you ended up with a good attorney who really has a heart for defending people like you. And Michelle, I can just tell from our conversations that you would fit in very comfortably at Gun Owners of America because we have that same view about the Second Amendment. And it basically is not an instruction to we the people. It's an instruction to the government. Leave us alone.
Yes, and thank you, Larry. I appreciate that. But Shaneen's an easy person to support. This is an easy case. This is a no-brainer. This is one of those cases, this is not party politics. This is the right thing to do. This is the Constitution. This isn't Democrat, Republican, it's left, right. This just makes sense, and it's just amazing to me that anyone would think otherwise.
Except they do think otherwise if they work for the criminal justice system in New Jersey. It's stunning how many people were so stuck on stupid in poor Shaneen's case. And the one cop that sort of had the right idea didn't have the strength of his convictions. And so really, it's a system that kind of consumes even those that are within it. And the
prosecutor in this case is the same prosecutor that let Ray Rice take an easy probation road instead of seeking charges against him and pursuing a different route for knocking his then fiancée out on camera. There was no disputing that. This is the same exact prosecutor.
Yes.
Now, for those that are as culturally illiterate as I am, he's a sports figure, right? A well-known sports figure? Okay. So, this is a guy that got special consideration because, quote, he's important.
Yeah.
And Shaneen, you're a nothing. So we're going to just let the system grind you down.
Yes, it's crazy.
Yes, and that's a shame because the reality is most people, most Americans, are that nothing. Just regular people going to work and going home to their families. That's it. That's what regular people do. That's the majority. And this is what could happen to the majority.
It certainly is. And again, I hope folks listening will reach out with a tangible amen to that. Go to ShaneenAllen.org. There's a place to donate on that page. And Shaneen has not been able to work because when an employer, a would-be employer, does a background on her, she's got all these dangerous weapons charges hanging over her head. And it's only been about...
It's still there.
It's still on the record.
It's still on her record.
The governor's expungement hasn't even caught up with the computers yet. So as we speak, even though we're about 2 months after the actual act was taken by the governor, Shaneen is still under the thumb of this system. It's almost like a Kafka novel. The guy's in jail and he doesn't know why. He doesn't know for how long. It's just incredible. It's bizarro world. And
it is bizarro.
But I'm repeating myself now.
She had to report to her probation officer even after the pardon was issued. Yes. There is something convoluted about the system that we live in, and it just, we don't have enough time to talk about all the turns that this case has gone through. But she's living it every day.
There's the music. Every day. It's not over, folks. Please do reach out. ShaneenAllen.org. You can't help a more deserving person. And let's show her that the rest of us care, even if the state of New Jersey is bizarro. Hopefully, Shaneen, you'll never have to go to New Jersey again. And I would hope that none of us do either.
I've also asked the school board to make a part of every day some kind of anti-violence, anti-gun message. Every day, every school, at every level. One thing that I think is clear with young people and with adults as well is that we just have to be repetitive about this. It's not enough to simply have a catchy ad on a Monday and then only do it every Monday. We need to do this every day of the week and just really brainwash people into thinking about guns in a vastly different way.
Brainwash people into thinking about guns in a vastly different way. Brainwash people, brainwash people, brainwash people, brainwash people, brainwash people, brainwash people.
The tyrants did it. Hitler took the guns. Stalin took the guns. Mao took the guns. Fidel Castro took the guns. Hugo Chavez took the guns. And I'm here to tell you, 1776 will commence again if you try to take our firearms. Doesn't matter how many lemmings you get out there on the street begging for them to have their guns taken. We will not relinquish them. Do you understand? And that's why you're going to fail, and the establishment knows no matter how much propaganda, the Republic will rise again when you attempt to take our guns.
The Bill of Rights protects every American's God-given right to keep and bear arms. Now that right is being seriously undermined as legally registered rifles are being confiscated in some parts of our country. If we're not careful, we may find ourselves with no right to own guns, and that's where Gun Owners of America comes in. Gun Owners of America is in Washington every day fighting for you to keep that right. Congressman Ron Paul has called GOA the only no-compromise gun lobby in Washington. You need to be part of this great grassroots group of activists who are keeping the heat on their members of Congress. Find out right now how you can join. Call 888-886-GUNS and get started receiving their fact-filled newsletters and action alerts. Call 888-886-GUNS or go to their webpage at gunowners.org and help make your voice heard in Washington. Make that call right now and call Gun Owners of America at 888-886-GUNS. Remember, it's not just about gun control, it's about control.